Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 40, the narration of the Udyapan story. Before that, let us do the Namasmaran, followed by chapter number 40, and we will conclude chapter number 40 with the Aarti. Shri Sachidananda Satguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Sai Ram. Chapter number 40. Let us do the Namasmaran. ओम श्री साई नाथाय नमः 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 ओम श्री साईनाथाय नमः. Om Sai Ram. Chapter number 40. The narration of the Udyapan story. Before that, I bow down to Shri Ganesh, I bow down to Shri Saraswati, I bow down to the Guru, I bow down to the family deity, I bow down to Shri Sita Ramachandra, I bow down to Shri Satguru Sainath. Blessed, blessed is Sri Sai Samartha, who gives instructions in both temporal and spiritual matters through this book to the devotees, fulfilling them and who have achieved their object. When he places his hand on his head, he immediately transfers his powers and destroys the sense of duality and makes the devotee attain the unattainable. He embraces and holds near his heart those who prostrate themselves before him with no sense of duality and unconditional surrender to him. The ocean and the river have different names, but they are one and the same when they meet each other during the monsoon. Not the slightest difference remains. Similarly, when the devotee wholeheartedly surrenders with faith to the Sat Gurunatha, there he bestows upon the devotee his own greatness, taking into consideration the true devotion of the devotee. Hail, hail to you, O compassionate one! To the all destitute, supremely loving and uplifter of the devotees. Though you pervade the whole universe, you are living independently in Shirdi. I am amazed when I saw you, though a saint with your legs spread out with the grinding stone in between, grinding wheat after firmly fixing the peg and putting in as much grains as possible for grinding. This incident has been the root cause of writing this book. A strong desire then arose that if all such deeds are described, then all the sins will be destroyed. The Lord Himself would be pleased, as He prefers the stories to be sung by His own devotees or the description of their virtues. Virtuous listeners may have some doubts about this statement having been made without any proof or evidence. There, then they should refer to the Bhavyoshtar Puran, which has been narrated by Tripurari. This is all Sai's inspiration, but only to conform to popular custom that he gave his consent for the composition for the benefit of his devotees. Thereafter, every month the stories of Sai Samartha have been read by the devotees with great love and has been published in Shri Sai Leela. It is that Sai only who gives his consent. He is the giver of my intelligence. He is the main kindler of inspiration. He tells all his own stories. Do not have the delusion that Hemant writes this with his own intelligence. Therefore, I earnestly pray to the listeners not to attribute its greatness or fault to me. If there is greatness, it is Sai. If you find any faults, they are his. I am only Sai's puppet dancing to his string pulling. The puppeteer holds the string and presents the drama and pleases the colorful or strange. He makes the puppets dance according to the story. Enough of this discussion now. The listeners are anxious as per their nature to know what new story is there for them. Let us sing for them the praises of the Guru and the devotee. At the time of concluding the last chapter, I had indicated the thread of the next chapter and borne it in mind. Listen to it as I remember it. Now listen to this sweet narration with attention of how a devotee lovingly offers food and how Sai is supremely contented. Sai is exactly as caring towards his devotees as a mother is to a nursing child. He comes running wherever you may be. How can one repay his obligation? Listen with a peaceful mind to the story of his being in all the three worlds simultaneously, though residing in Shirdi. Once, the mother of Bala Sahib, who was a great devotee of Baba and was attached to Sai's feet, was devoted on removing the imperfections of her religious observances undertaken for the welfare of all. She had performed several religious observances on and on. The Udyapan for all of them remained to be done. As soon as the number of vows was completed, it is necessary to do the Udyapan. Otherwise, one does not have the merit, the punya, and the vow is incomplete without it. The was number 25 or 30, and for their Udyapan ceremony, Dio had invited 100 to 200 Brahmins for a meal. So a day was fixed according to the Hindu calendar to perform the Udyapan. Dio wrote to Jog to make a request to Baba. See, without your presence, this Udyapan will not be complete. Therefore, accepting this prayer, oblige this humble one. I am a government servant and work to maintain my family. From those limited means, I do such virtuous deeds as I can, as you know. As the Hanu is so far away, I am unable to come myself, but I have great hopes that you will accept this invitation. Thus, Babu Sahib Jog read out the letter to Baba completely and asked him to fulfill Dio's wish in this manner. Baba listened with full attention and to this pure hearted invitation and said, he who remembers me is always in my mind. I need no conveyance, a carriage or a horse or a plane or a train. I appear without an instant delay when I am lovingly called. Write to him that you, I, and a third person, all the three of us will go together. The writer will be pleased. So be it. Joe communicated to Dio whatever Baba had said. Dio was very pleased knowing that Baba's words were always true. Dio had full faith now that Baba would certainly come, but when he would experience it, it would be a golden day. But Dio was also fully aware that besides Shirdi, there were only three villages where Baba rarely went. He used to remain in Shirdi always. If he felt like it, once in 6 months he would go or so. Baba sometimes went to Rahata or Rui or Nimongo. Otherwise, he always lived in Shirdi. As he did not go to anyone except in these villages, then how would he come to such a faraway place as Dahanu or to me? But he was Lord Vishnu incarnate and could go anywhere he pleased. This traveling is only for people of this world. He abided fully within and without, coming here from there or going there from here. Even the sky would not know about it as he was complete and all pervasive. Similarly, Baba's movements were impossible to understand. All this movable and immovable is filled by him. Then, where is the question of coming and going for him? He manifests at his will. Approximately a month prior to this, a sannyasi came to the station master at Dahanu rail station for his work. He was a canvasser for the Institution of Protection of Cows and a volunteer for this institution. He had come to ask for donations to improve the financial conditions of this institution. From his dress, he appeared to be a Bengali. The station master suggested to him to go to the town where he would be taken care of well. There is a mamaltar there. Apprise him of this idea. You will meet rich people there who will give you a helping hand. Once the mamaltar is convinced, money will be collected in no time for this religious work. Go where without any hesitation. As the station master was speaking thus inside, the horse's hooves could be heard outside. The Mamaldar himself had come. He aligned and went into the station. When he entered the room to meet the station master, the master said to the sannyasi, "The Mamaldar himself had come there. Now tell him what you would wish. By the good fortune, you have met him easily." Then the sannyasi began to tell him what he had in mind. Then both of them came out and sat on a wooden box. The sannyasi pleaded with Dio to accomplish the work. "Unless you decide to take into your hands the sacred and religious work of protection of cows, can a stranger like me achieve a little bit? You are the officer of this taluka, whereas I am a penniless person, going from door to door to relieve the hunger of cows. If you put in a word, my work will be completed quickly. You will get the blessings of the mother cow, will get name and fame certainly." After hearing the sannyasi's request, Dio replied to him, "A collection has been started in the town for another cause. Rao Sahib Narottam Shetty, who is a philanthropist and a leading and an active citizen, has started collection. Therefore, tell me how it would be possible for you to start a collection. This is not an appropriate time. We will see about it later." Therefore, after waiting for 2 or 4 months, come again to this town. Then we shall see what can be done at that time. This is not a proper time. So be it. He left from there. A month must have passed since when he returned to Dahu, seated in a tonga. Advocate Paranjpe's house was in front of Dio's house. After the Tonga stopped there, he saw the sannyasi getting down. "Is it the same person, certainly, who had come earlier to make the collection?" said Dio to his son, not being sure. "Well, not even a month had passed. Why had he come here? Did he forget our earlier talk?" This was what was suspected. He left off the Tonga and spent some time there itself. Then he came to Dio's house and began to say, "I am in no hurry to get the money." When he saw the time, it was around 10 a.m. When it was time for the meal for the Brahmins to start, the confusion in which Dio was. "I have not come for money. Today I need food," Dio replied. "Come with pleasure. Consider this your house." Just then the sannyasi said, "My two children are with me." "That's very good," Dio replied to him. As there was some time for a meal to be served, therefore Dio asked him, "Where have you been put up so that I may send for you there?" "What is the need for that? When should I come? Tell me at what hour I should be present. I will come when you ask me," the sannyasi said. "All right, come with the children at 12 o'clock and partake the meal, holy one." This is what Dio said to him. "So be it." Then the sannyasi left and came exactly at 12 o'clock. The three of them sat down for the meal and ate to their heart's content. After the food was ready, the Brahmins sat down in rows. The host took good care of the sannyasi and his family. The sannyasi had come on his own with two people, but because of his earlier purpose, a veil of illusion was spread. That is why Dio felt that an Aditi had come for the meal, but he had a feeling that he wanted money, and that feeling was strengthened. In this way, the meal was over. The Brahmins took the water in their palms and sipped it and drank the cool and fragrant water. They also partook of the betel nut after the meal. According to the custom, Dio offered with great reverence and pleasure flowers, sandalwood paste, betel nut, and attar and rose water to all. So be it. After all was over, they assembled. The group left for their homes. The sannyasi, also with his family, returned to his own place. Though unexpected and uninvited, they had come at the right time and eaten. But Dio did not think it was Baba. He was doubtful. Though it had happened that the three people had come unexpectedly and had been served by himself, Dio was still doubtful. So he had asked Job for proof. So after the Udyapan, Dio wrote a letter to Job. How could Baba deceive like this? Is it correct for him to speak so? You were also supposed to come with him. His words can never be untrue. If you had come, there would have been some proof. Now, how can I believe it? Then, why? has this happened? Why was I so disappointed? I waited most intently, but I had no experience. I invited Baba with full of love, and he said he would come to me who is surrendered to him. But something different happened. I do not understand how it all took place. In consideration of my dependent position, I had a written letter with great entreaty. Then, learning that Baba would come, I felt I was greatly blessed. I knew he would come in any form and under any pretext. But why did nothing of that sort happen? I am greatly perplexed. Jog said laid at Sai's feet. The whole happening narrated by Dio. Baba looked totally surprised, said to him, before you open the letter, all that is explained in it has been known to me. Even before it was read, what is written stands before my eyes very clearly. He said that I promised to come but deceived him with my words. Tell him that he did not recognize me. Then why did he invite me? I did not move from here as the world perceives, but I had the food at the Udyapan. I had said I would come with two more persons. Accordingly, I went with two others. There was some time for lunch when I had come along with time at my disposal. Don't you remember the attire of the sannyasi when I first entered? Seeing that I had come unexpectedly, did you not fear that I would ask for money? And did I not remove your doubt? I will come only to eat along with two others, I had said, and I did not eat at the right time with two more. Bear it in mind that I would even give my life to keep the words, but the words spoken by me will never be untrue. When Sainatha said so, Job could not contain his joy. Whatever was promised would never be untrue. This was everyone's experience always. Later on, this information was conveyed by Job to Dio. He sent him a detailed letter in a very happy frame of mind. When Dio read the letter, his eyes overflowed with tears of love. He reapproached himself for having unnecessarily blamed Sai and felt very dispirited. Blessed is Baba's greatness, and useless is my egoistic power of perception. But I do not understand how I was to conclude that Baba was a sannyasi because he had to come for the first time even before Baba had been invited for his own work of raising donations. Then he had met me. I had asked him to come back after 2 or 4 months, but he came asking for food. How was I to deduce that it was Baba? Only the words of Baba that he could come for a meal with two others were forgotten by me. If I had seen him for the first time, after having invited Baba, and that too only for the food, I would not have been so beguiled. But he came under the pretext of a cow protection and to raise funds for their welfare. Thereafter, the invitation was sent to Sai for Udyapan. Therefore, this confusion occurred because of which all this took place. Though he came with two others and ate, I took him to be one, just desirous of food. If I had not met him earlier, and he had come unexpectedly at the time of the meal with any two persons, I would have known him to be Sai definitely. But these are the ways of saints. Their leelas are unfathomable and their deeds are marvelous. They themselves plan the function in their devotees' homes even before the devotee knows about it. When the devotee is humble and surrenders at his feet, the execution of his auspicious work is accomplished without his knowledge. Inconceivable are the deeds of saints. Chintamani grants what is desired. The Kalpavriksha fulfills the wishes. The Kamadhenu gives birth to the desires. But the Guru Mai grants even the unexpected. Be it so. In the instance, Baba appeared as a sannyasi when he was invited, but his leelas are unprecedented. Sometimes he appears uninvited, sometimes he appears in the form of a photograph, sometimes he appears as an idol. There is no limit to his favors. He appeared on his own violation. Listeners will be amazed to hear my own experience in this connection. They will understand the power of Sai's Leelas. This story is unprecedented and novel. Some may call it a religious experience, or some may call it a story. Call it what you will, but listen to it with reverence. Leaving aside sleep and tiredness and becoming fully alert, listen to this story. Grant me this wish, I will be satisfied. Cast away disquietude for a while. Listen with a calm and undisturbed mind, and it will prove useful. Later, you can meditate upon it. Then onwards, it will be a self realization. But it all depends upon how you listen. This is the sum and substance. You will then come across the ocean of existence. In the year 1917, on Purnima day of Falgun, when I was sleeping on my bed, I had a dream early in the morning. The whole size deeds. Dressed, dressed in beautiful clothes. As a sannyasi, he gave me a darshan and woke me up. He said, I will be coming for lunch today. His waking me up was also a part of the dream because I really woke up and I began to recall the dream. When I opened my eyes and began to look, there was no Sai or anyone else there. It was only a dream, and a while back I had not been awake. When I was sure about it, I began to recall the dream. I remembered it word to word without forgetting anything at all. I will be coming for lunch today. Hearing these clear words from Sai, I was filled with joy. I told my wife about it. It has always been my practice to think and meditate upon Sai. Though I have been associated with him for 7 years, I never expected him to come for a meal. So be it. I told her, today is the holy festival. Put an extra quarter seer of rice to boil. Do not forget. When I told her this, she began to ask the reason behind my instructions. I told her, today being a festival, a guest would be coming home for lunch. Put an extra quarter seer of rice to boil. Do not forget. When I told her this, she began to ask the reason behind my instruction. I told her, today being a festival, a guest would come. Then she asked, who is coming? As she could not contain her curiosity. But if I disclosed the reason, I felt I would be laughed at. Though I knew fully well I did not wish to delude her. Therefore, with full faith, I told her the truth. But all this depends upon your faith and whatever one feels within. Whether true or not depends on one's mind. How much ever I tried to convince her, she would not accept it and said, why would Shirdi Baba come so far from Shirdi? What is the food here? And what celebrations are we going to have for Holi? Leave aside the dainty food of Shirdi, will be coming to eat our course of food. Hearing these arguments from her, I said, what is the difficulty in cooking a little more rice? You will not lose anything. I am not saying that Sai himself will come as a guest. I would not say that myself to you. But someone or the other will come. I have no doubt about it. You may consider it any way, but I will treat him as Sai himself and none else but Sai. Otherwise, my dream will be meaningless. So be it. After this discussion, when it was noon and Holika worship was finished with all rituals, the leaf plates were laid out for lunch. All the family members, sons, grandsons, daughters, son in laws, friends, and relatives had come and sat down in rows back to back. The place was decorated with variegated rangoli. In the main row, a seat was kept in the center in the place of honor for Sai to be served with the others. Around the leaf plates, there was a decoration of rangoli with blue and other colors. Everyone had a pot of water, a cylindrical vessel for drinking water, a small spoon placed near them. A lot of precaution had been made: papad, sange, salads, pickle, raita, different vegetables, kheer, etc. Seeing that this was 12 noon, the guests wore the sovala and one by one took their seats, but no one else came. All the leaf plates were filled with rice, Polly, and Vernon, except for the central leaf plate or a place of honor which was empty. Otherwise, there was no dearth of anything in that place. I knew that some guest or unexpected visitor would come, so I waited for the arrival. But I began to wonder how long should I wait. Therefore, the door was locked and chained. Ghee, Anna Shuddhi, was immediately served. Lord Vaishwadev was made a formal offering as Naivedya, and lunch was about to begin. Just at the time of Prana Uti, footsteps were heard on the stairs, and someone called out, "Where is Rao Sahib?" All the invitees sat quietly. Then I immediately went to the door as I realized someone had come. As I slowly unchained the door, I saw two persons at the stairs. One of them was Ali Muhammad, and the other was a disciple of Saint Maulana by the name of Ismu Mujawar. They both seemed very happy, seeing all the people who had sat down for a meal and the preparations. Ali apologized. "Forgive me for having troubled you. It seems that you have got up for lunch and come quickly for my sake, and for your sake and the others who have stopped and are waiting. Yet, please take this article. Then, when I meet you at leisure, I will relate the marvel of it in detail. It is a strange story." Speaking thus, Ali took out the packet from under his arm and placing it on the table began to unwrap it. When the unwrapping of the newspaper was removed, it was revealed a picture of Sai immediately. He said, "Keep this yourself. Please accept my request." Seeing Baba's picture, I got goose pimples and I placed my head at his feet. I was choked with emotion. I felt that this was a strange miracle and this was a strange Leela of Sai. I felt blessed by this action of his. I became strongly curious. "From where did you get this picture?" He replied, "I purchased it from the shop." Later on, both of them did not wait even for a moment. They said, "We are leaving now. You please eat your lunch undisturbed." If at that moment I begin to narrate the reason behind this, it will unnecessarily delay the lunch of all who have gathered. I will relate it to you later on. I also agreed with him. I was very happy that the picture had come in time and I became preoccupied with it. I expressed my gratitude to them. "All right, goodbye. We will later tell you why the picture had come there. There is no need to do it right now." So it. After they left, the picture was placed on the central seat, which had been set aside for Sai. Everyone was happy. Inscrutable are the ways of Sai. He made his words in the dream come true by coming in the form of a picture. All the people who were expecting the arrival of a guest rejoined. Then for lunch were surprised. Seeing the beautiful image in the picture, everyone was supremely delighted. Everyone was surprised by the unimaginable way by which all this had happened. After placing the picture on the central seat and doing full ritualistic puja, Naivedya was offered with loving devotion. Then everyone started their meal. From then onwards, till this day, on every holy day, this tradition is carried out with all rituals and puja. This picture is also worshipped at the family altar along with other deities. In this manner, Sai showed his actions to his devotees at every step. So be it. Later on, both the devotees, people postponed the meeting, and 9 years passed thus. Yet I did not meet them. At the last chance, I met Ali Muhammad. In fact, I met him as I was casually walking. No sooner than I met him, I became eager to ask him about the marvel of the picture. "Why were you silent all these years and not said anything? We are meeting today as unexpectedly as on the other day. The opportune time has come now. Tell me the wonderful story completely. You are also a devotee of Shri Sai. I know it very well. But that day, why did you feel it proper to come all of a sudden? Then that Ali described the incident. He said, "Listen, I will tell you the whole story. See how wonderful is Sai's Leela. It is full of surprises. What is the meaning of this Leela? What is his purpose? And what was the COVID purpose for the devotees? Sai alone knows it well. We can only listen to each Leela or sing about them, knowing them to give happiness, certainly. So be it. The further narration will be told in the next chapter. The assembly of devotees will be happy to listen to the infallible story of Sai. Sai, who is the cloud of bliss and who has no malice towards anyone. Worship him always and ceaselessly. You will attain happiness and contentment, and the mind will be free of desires. The Chatak makes a request for its own self, but the clouds benefit the whole earth. Similarly, Bala Sahib invited Baba, but Baba invites all devotees. The listeners also sit together with the devotees in row and hear the Udyapan story lovingly. They enjoy the pleasure of association with Sai and blench with contentment. How he comes uninvited, how he appears in physical form, how he obliges his devotees, and how he awakens them at every step. So be it. Hemant surrenders at the feet of Sai. The next chapter will be the continuation of the same story. Sai will himself arrange to have the full narration done. It is because of Sai's sacred credo that he protects those who have surrendered to him, that Hemad embraces at his feet, and he will not drive him away. May there be well being. This is the end of the 40th chapter of SHRI Sai Samartha Satcharita, written by the devotee Hemad Pant, impelled by the saints and virtuous people, called the narration of the Udyapan story. This is offered to Shri Sadguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Om Sai Ram. Now let us all do the arti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. शिरडी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर. बाबा रमावर साई बाबा रमावर. शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्र बागा भाव पुंडली जागा. पुंडली जागा भाव पुंडली जागा. याव याव अवघे जना करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. करू बने बाबा साई भाव पाव माझे आई. पाव माझे आई पाव पाव माझे आई. कनेल कांधन बने कचरण तुयाति पाहिल रूप तुझे. प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव मा इन बने नमा. त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव. त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. पयेर्नु माचा प्रसन्निर्मा उद्यागनावा पतन स्वभाव. करोमि अत्यं सत्यन्तरस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि. अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारिणं कृष्ण दामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे. ईदवं माधवं गोपिका विल्लवं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharita every day and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.